Welcome back to another episode of Realty Talk. I am not your host, but it's Halloween time. So maybe my costume will be podcast host, which will be complete with a badass outfit and no fucking clue what's going on during the episode.
No, that's me.
Before we get going, let's introduce your host, Anthony Joplin, which, wouldn't you know it, is actually wearing the podcast host costume right now.
Unbelievable.
How in the Outback Steakhouse are ya?
Oh, if I was any better, I'd be a bloomin' onion.
I love how none of this is planned.
Oh my God.
Okay, focus up.
I need a $5 Mai Tai.
We're professionals.
She said to herself quietly.
That went more beautiful than I could have ever imagined an intro going. Today, we will be playing a brand new game.
No.
Which I know is your favorite.
That's my jam.
And it's going to be called Fact or Fiction.
No way.
There will be some real estate stories.
Fun.
Some of them will be true.
Okay.
And the others are completely made up.
Yeah, sounds like me.
So it's going to be up to you to decipher which are which.
I love this.
Ready?
Already.
Okay. They're going to be short little snippet stories. Like snackable. Snackable moments.
God, it's like an Uncrustable.
Those are pretty snackable.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's the peanut butter to jelly ratio.
You know what, Smuckers, you really hit out of the park with that one.
Good job.
Plug.
Yeah.
Unsponsored.
Not yet. Or maybe sometime.
Perhaps
in the
soon.
future. Okay. Story number 1. I had just gotten into the home selling process and I picked an agent at random. She was married, but I soon found out that she was having an affair with the mortgage broker who was also married while listing my house. I found out pretty quickly why it seemed like they were focused on other things at the moment.
True.
True.
100% true.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
it
guarantee
is
it.
true.
People fucking. It's got to be true.
Affairs, people fucking, yeah. The sanctity of marriage being broken. Totally true.
Well, 100%.
Oh, it's sad.
100%.
All right. I am a seller's agent, and I once had a buyer's agent send me a picture of her torso with some leads attached to the message as well. The picture is burned in my memory. Unfortunately, I cannot erase it. The agent's last name, and I'm not kidding, was Overshown.
Oh, that's false. Can't be overshown.
It is true.
No, I know, but it's overshown.
That was her last name.
Her last name was Overshown?
Yeah.
You're fucking around.
I'm not. That's what the story said. And it's weird because I think I was watching.
I was like true the whole way, and then it was Overshown. Like, that's
Overshown.
fucking bullshit.
No, there was like, I think I was watching like a snippet from baseball or something. I feel like someone in baseball has the last name of Overshown. I'm like, oh, so it is a last name.
That sounded fake.
It sounded fake to me, but it was true. All right. I once had a buyer whose deal kept getting delayed. Every time we thought we were closing, a new issue popped up. First, it was a termite inspection, then a paperwork mix-up, and I know this sounds like an elementary school excuse, but their new puppy ate/tore up all of the closing documents.
That is 100% true.
By the time it actually closed, we joked that they should have thrown an anniversary party for how long the process actually took. It is false.
No fucking way.
Yep.
I actually had somebody where that did happen.
It did.
Yeah, that did happen. It was one of my deals that they fucking well, it wasn't the dog that ripped it up. They fucking spilled alcohol all over it. Alcohol. These are my kind of people. So yeah, it was at a party or whatever, and they had like when I say a party, we're not talking like 50, 100 people. It was like 5, 10 people at the party.
So a kickback.
Yeah, whatever we call it nowadays. So they were at a party and they had the documents on their kitchen counter. And the problem was that was where the alcohol was. It wasn't much. It was like a handle here and there, a couple bottles of wine, no big deal.
Yeah.
And somebody, I'm not going to name names, spilled the fucking alcohol.
Is the person in this room with us?
No. I'm a professional. I never abuse alcohol like that.
By spilling it.
By spilling it. No, they spilled, and there was the fucking, yep.
Dang. That is unfortunate.
Well, the problem was it was like important documents.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you just keep that?
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's where they want. They're like, oh, we're moving. I'm like, maybe you don't do that.
Yeah, that was a false story. Yeah. All right, next one.
It didn't delay it a year though.
It was more
like 24 hours.
Yeah, because all you got to do is print.
You print it. Fucking do it again.
It's not like we have to go down to like.
I know.
The grocery store and get our shit printed now.
Well, they're all like celebrating and shit, so I was like, I get it. It's no big deal.
Yeah, totally. Be more responsible.
No, fuck that.
You only get one copy.
What is this, the 70s?
Yes.
What?
If you go to FedEx now, if you want to print a piece of paper, it's like $1.50.
Are you fucking around?
No.
Just listen.
But because no one our age has printers well, I mean, you have a business.
Don't even talk to me.
Listen, do you have a printer in your house?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Printer, scanner, faxer, the whole bit.
A fax machine?
Yes, I sure have a fax machine. Don't even fucking try me.
Okay, anyway, I won't. But Cody and I were in LA the other day, and we drove past a liquor store that it had like snacks, beer, fax. And I was like, who's going to the liquor store to fax something? Also, does anyone in that liquor store know how to use a fax?
No.
I'm inclined to say no.
Listen, that's how money laundering is. I'm just making shit up at this point.
Okay. False story. Fact or fiction, that one's fiction.
That's a full fiction.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did.
All right, next one. I once had a buyer's agent sign an earnest money release form and had her client sign it without first reading it. It's just a standard form, just one page, barely 2 paragraphs, and 2 boxes to check off. She signed it thinking that the earnest money was going to be released back to her client, but she didn't read it to realize that the money was going to go to the seller. This was after 3 extensions and 70 days under contract. That mistake cost her clients $38.50, and she called the title company 2 months later asking why the check was late.
Do me a favor. Could you read that whole thing again so I can have the string of events?
Yes.
'Cause it sounded like a lot of shit happening.
I once had a buyer's agent sign an earnest money release form and had her client sign it without first reading it.
Got it. So buyers.
Yes.
Got it.
It's standard form, couple pages, or
Deposit
one
release.
page, 2 paragraphs. She signed it thinking that the earnest money was going to be released back to her client, the buyer.
Oh.
But she didn't read it to realize.
Yeah, I fucking get where. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you just fucking.
Yeah, she didn't realize that the money was going to go to the seller.
Yeah, 100%.
That was after 3 extensions and 70 days under contract, and that mistake cost her clients $3,850. And she called the company 2 months later asking why the check was late.
Well, question for you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't affect anything. Mm-hmm. It's the earnest money release anyway.
Right.
So the buyer's agent didn't lose on that money.
Yeah.
It just got released early.
Get it.
Well, no, it's the buyer's side.
Right, yeah.
That buyer's money is released to the seller early, but there's no extra money.
Yeah.
So if the price was $1 million, that earnest money deposit release was counted towards the $1 million. There was no extra money.
Right, yeah.
So the buyer didn't.
They didn't lose.
Well, if they closed. Now, if they didn't close,
right,
then the money's gone. Now, if they canceled the deal, bye, see you later. That's where I could see them losing that deposit. So I think that story's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
True.
Man, I'm telling you, that's a been there, done that for sure.
Oh no.
No, not to be the guy on like the bad side of that, but I've had to release deposits.
Right.
I had to save a deal for an agent of mine who just came over from another. Can I say? I'll say it. Fuck, it's my podcast. So it's so from Big.
You're wearing
Block,
the costume.
Love you. So from Big Block, they came over to us, and Big Block didn't have a lot of broker support. So he came to me. He goes, "I'm losing this deal." So I saved the deal, and the listing agent wanted a full deposit release of like 15, 20 grand, and I said that's not going to happen. So we'll release half, maybe. We'll see. Mm-hmm. The per diem got put in place for an extension of escrow, and then we extended the escrow another 30 days to make sure he closed. But then the listing agent turned around, and she says, well, I want to do the loan on that. So my agent, not knowing, gave her the loan. Mm-hmm. So by giving her the loan, I turned around and said, well, why'd you give her? Number one, I'm always late to the party on this stuff. I said, that's a huge no-no.
Yeah.
Number one. because that's conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But since she's doing the loan, we need to close this bad boy, like in the sense of closing it and everyone's at full disclosure. Okay, but I want all the per diems wiped. So his $100 a day or whatever it was, for a whole month, got back to him. So now the buyer didn't lose out.
That's good.
So that was my
nice
story there. Yeah,
getting shit done.
Snail. I'm sorry, Donna.
All right, next one. This one is perfect for Halloween. During an open house, I had a potential buyer comment on how nice the staging was.
Great.
Even going so far as to praise the fact that the previous homeowners were showing off their favorite features of the house and sharing their stories. I was a little confused because the homeowners were on a cruise at the time, and the only other people in the house were a 20-something-year-old and their dad in the other room. The potential buyers left in a hurry after this, and I never did find out who or what the visitors were.
Say that whole thing? Wait, that doesn't make sense.
So, during an open house,
Okay.
I'm assuming
Agent,
yeah, had a potential buyer comment on how nice the staging was, even going so far as to praise the fact that the previous homeowners, or I guess the current homeowners, were showing off their favorite features of the house and sharing their stories. I was a little confused, agent, because the homeowners were on a cruise at the time and the only other people in the house were a 20-something-year-old and their dad in the other room. The potential buyers that were telling the story, were, oh my God, the homeowners, left in a hurry and I never did find out who or what the visitors were.
they were shooting a porno.
No hesitation.
They were shooting a porno.
Is it a true or false story?
Oh, I think it's a false story.
It is a false story. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding!
Yeah, I bet you he was alluding to the porno thing. I'm just making shit up at this point.
I was gonna go more along the lines of ghost.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was gonna be really weird. The whole scenario was gonna be weird.
It reeks of weird.
Yeah,
That's the point of this.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's
why I like it so much.
It's weird. All right, I'll speak slower from now on our
well,
stories.
no, because it didn't like fucking. Look at these.
For some reason, that song always scared me as a kid.
Yeah, weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay. Next one. Me and my partner listed a house where the homeowner had a medical condition where they couldn't wear clothes.
Get the fuck out of here.
So we got to hang out with some 60-year-old naked, fat, hairy guy for a few hours. He legit had court paperwork saying that he had a certain condition. But I mean, come on, man. You can put on a robe for a few hours. After 2 months and no takers, we told him we were not going to list the home anymore and that he needed to find someone else.
That's a 50-50. I'm leaning towards false, but it's so stupid. It's probably fucking true. I'm going to go with true.
It's true.
Yeah, I fucking bet it's true. I fucking bet it's true.
What? I don't think I could ever do any sort of business with someone where they're just hanging brain.
I never thought I heard you say the words hanging brain. Hilarious.
It's
That's tough.
that I would be like, no. Don't even have words.
No way.
All right, next one.
No way.
I recently listed a house with what I thought was a small guest house in the backyard.
Okay.
The house itself was pretty okay, but you could tell that this mini guest house definitely was something that they spent a decent amount of money on.
Sure.
After discussion with the owners, it turns out that it wasn't a guest house, but instead was a house for their dog. These owners had spent more money on the dog's living quarters than on any remodel that they did for the main house. It all worked out in the end because the new buyers agreed to keep it anyway.
What in Puptown Nation are we talking about? I can't. What? It's a house? It wasn't a guest house?
It wasn't a guest house. It was a dog house.
How big was this fucking house?
You want to know something?
Yeah.
I've seen decently sized dog houses on Instagram. And of course, it's always on people's properties that they have, clearly some time and money. But it's like, did you need this for the dog?
So I have to know, did they give the dimensions of the house?
They did not.
Oh, shit.
Enough to be mistaken as a guest house.
With a big door and everything? Like, that doesn't make fucking sense.
I've seen it on Instagram, I promise you. And it's one of those that it's like,
I want to lean towards false on this.
It is a false story.
Yeah.
But I've seen these houses on Instagram, so there is some truth in this.
I mean, so now if it was like a fucking small house, I'd be like, that's a fucking true story. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it's like the houses that I see that are the dog houses on Instagram, it almost looks like someone wanted a permanent playhouse for their kids.
Yeah, right. Totally.
That's what I would, but I would still mistake that as a guest house or some sort of like office space.
Yeah, for sure.
But a dog house? I'm not saying this is not a true story, but I've seen houses like this on Instagram where it is the dog's house.
I'll be honest, if I was going to be in the dog house for a long time, that's where I want to be.
Honestly, you get yourself set up with a nice TV and a little lounge chair.
Little fucking tea on the kettle, you know what I mean? No big deal.
Oh, yes.
I don't drink fucking tea. I'm not a teetotaler. I drink a fish.
You drink tea?
No.
Tea-toes.
Got him. Fucking got him. Bang. There it was, ladies and gentlemen. Tea-toes. Wow. I was like, the only tea I drink is in fucking a John Daly.
I love John Daly's.
Oh, God. You're welcome for that.
I know. And I went to Stampede a couple weeks ago, and I ordered one, and my friend's like, what's a John Daly? And I was like, okay.
Let me educate
Let me educate you here, little sweetheart. Okay. So Arnold Palmer, right? He's a golfer.
You're just educating people on the history
Using your verbatim.
of the Jonathan Daly.
Using verbatim what you told me. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And you know what they said? Oh my God, that's crazy. And I'm like, and so the tradition continues.
I'm so glad you got to feel that powerful moment.
I did. I was like,
yeah, but how snooty did you feel? You like
so snooty. But I was in Stampede, so.
Yeah, down your nose. You 18-year-old smuck.
I know.
Schmuck.
Stupid people.
Stupid. God.
All right, next one. My broker, while showing us a house, had to climb through a window to retrieve the keys and ended up getting stuck. Just picture Winnie the Pooh stuck in the honey pot. That's what he looked like. He needed to take a moment.
Thank God it's my podcast, so I can turn around and tell you the story.
Oh, yes!
I can't.
This is the only reason I do these, because the real life Anthony Joplin stories are where it's at. Let's go.
All right. Okay.
Before your story, true or false?
You know what? I think it's false.
It is true.
Fuck.
But
it is true,
yeah,
but only because it happened to fucking me.
So continue because it's like. So and then why would you guess false?
Well,
because you're like, oh, it's gotta be false.
Okay, so all right, so
is it one of those stories that you're like, I wish this was false? Go.
Okay.
Start.
All right, so there's a lot of details in the story. So
I'm ready.
Let me just beep it, girl. So
we gotta get the timer on the clock.
Gotta do it. So let me preface this by saying I was in middle school at the time.
This is how old this story is.
It's a very old story. And let me preface by saying that the girlfriend that I had in high school, I told the story to her family at dinner one day. And her mom was like, you tell really great stories. Also, honey, I'm so sorry. So this is going to be a really big story. So talk about the broker who gets stuck in the window like Winnie the fucking Pooh. So I'm gonna enlighten everybody on my life a little bit here. So in 6th grade, I was... get ready for this bad boy. It's a long story. Buckle up. Everyone better buckle their chin straps for this one.
Oh, chin strap.
Yeah, listen, we're getting ready for war at this point. So, shout out to Cody.
What?
He'll know what I mean. So I'm in 6th grade, and my sisters aren't doing great, so we transitioned in elementary school, whatever. So we transitioned to like a homeschool hybrid type thing, and it's pretty crazy because there's not a lot of interaction with other people. There's like 8 other kids in this, and 6th grade to 7th grade, so it was like halfway through 6th grade And then 7th and 8th, I was in this like hybrids homeschool program. And so not a lot of people to talk to, not a lot of interaction, nothing really happening. And then this girl comes in, and I was like immediately obsessed because she was, in my mind, a 10. She was probably normal looking person. And I was like, oh my God, you're so freaking hot. I can't believe it. Her name was Sarah. I'm just going to put a pin in that. And I was obsessed with Sarah, and she kept talking. She would talk to me because we're the same age, and we were talking and hanging out. And, as this hybrid school goes, you still went to school, but still had like,
right.
Still did some home education. But for us, we went to school from like 8:30 in the morning till like 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So it was like normal school.
Yeah.
There was real teachers and there was real things happening. So that was the kind of hybrid thing we were doing. But we were able to do advanced things. We were able to go from like, hey, we're doing this week's lesson. If you did the whole week in one day, you could do that type thing. So it was a modified thing. So Sarah would show up and she would do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I was determined. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was obsessed. So going through math, science, English, the whole bit. And my sisters were there, but in the younger perspective of, like they were doing like the different teachers type thing. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of hitting it off with this girl. I'm thinking
Oh yeah, sixth grader got game. Let's go.
I got all the game. Now let me preface this by saying what it looked like. I was way overweight and not looking very good. Harry Potter glasses, definitely, 100%. Like I looked like the definition of a guy you'd be like making fun of. Like this is the guys that don't, you know what I mean? Like this is a no-go in any shape or form. And she kept talking about this guy named Charlie. Charlie was her boyfriend.
Charlie.
Fucking Charlie, right? Yeah, fucking Charlie. So she was talking about this boy Charlie, and I was sitting here. I was like, man, I'm fucking hitting it off. I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. And then, lo and behold, somebody got kicked out of school. Guess who showed up? Like about 6 months later.
Charlie.
Fucking Charlie.
Damn it, Charlie.
And you know what's so fucked up is that the second I met this guy Charlie, we became like instant friends. And we were like so cool. He was such a good guy. And he was like the jock, and he was like the guy I wanted to be, And I was like fucking fat, weird Harry Potter looking idiot. You know what I mean? It was really sad on a lot of different levels, right?
Right.
But I was really smart-ish.
Yeah.
So, that helped. But it didn't. So they were like talking all the time, getting together the whole bit. And then, we had a couple other kids in the class. It was like me, them, and like 5 or 6 others. And there was this one kid who was like super small. And it's because he was a lot younger, but he had the accelerated program. His name was Wyatt. Wyatt was from Texas.
Wyatt just sounds like a super smart name.
Oh, yeah. Well, Wyatt was this kid from Texas. He had the southern drawl. He's like, my name's Wyatt. I'm from Texas. I was like,
oh, okay, Wyatt.
Yeah, so Wyatt, you're a fucking great kid. He's like, thanks, man. It's nice to meet you, sir. Like, look at this kid. Love this kid. He's like in 5th grade and shit. It's great. Like a year younger. It's not bad, right? So anyway, we get booked on this field trip because we could go do shit. Mm-hmm. We get booked on this field trip, and of all the fun places to go, we go to the alternative fuel. Yes, alternative fuel place over off of El Cajon Boulevard and the 15. If you know where it is, they have the first places to have corn or ethanol for gas, right?
Yeah.
So we were learning about alternative fuels and gas and the whole thing. I said, okay. So we're all going to go. So Sarah, Charlie, Wyatt, 3 other people, me, we're all going to go to this field trip, right?
Yeah. And
so they get there, we're walking around, and Charlie and Sarah are doing their own fucking thing, and I'm fucking pissed off looking at it, and it's crazy. And, so we finally get to this point where there's this huge blow-up maze. And the cool thing about this blow-up maze is that you have to associate the alternative fuel to the engine, right? So they did the training, and they're like, here, there's like 3 things. The first person to get 3 matches wins this prize. I forgot the prize, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it says, okay, all right, pair up. Charlie and fucking Sarah. Okay, all right.
Shocker.
That's fucking out. So the other kids pair up or whatever, and then I get stuck with old beautiful Wyatt. Me and Wyatt. And I said, Wyatt, we're going to win this thing. He goes, you darn tootin', mister. I was like, God, Wyatt, get out of here.
Damn it, Wyatt.
He starts pointing his fingers in the air like Yosemite Sam. He gets all crazy.
Well, I hope he didn't pop the inflatable maze with his spurs.
No, unbelievable. No, unbelievable. He wasn't big enough for spurs. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the spurs would have poked him in the, in the growth plate or whatever. Would have ruined him forever.
Gotcha.
So Wyatt had this really bitchin' haircut. He had this like down the middle, so it's like straight down the middle, but had this flippy haircut on the side. It was fucking badass. And I was like, Wyatt, we're doing this. So we start busting ass through the Marcus said, go, boosh. We start busting through the maze. And, he grabs one, I grab one, and there's these doorways, in this huge blue inflatable maze. And there's these little portholes that you can see through, but you can't get through. And
I was wondering where the Winnie the Pooh connection was going to come.
Thanks. Listen, Donna, I'm telling the fucking story here,
Got it.
I'm telling the fucking story here. So these little portholes you can see through, you're like, wow, there it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm rounding a corner. I got one, and I'm like, dude, Wyatt, there it is. And he's like, I got it. And he backs up about 10 steps, and then he runs full speed, and he puts his arms out like, like he's going to dive through, and he goes, thunk, goes right through the freaking porthole, making it happen. I was like, oh, if Wyatt can do it, I can sure fucking do it.
No.
Yep. So I back up about 10 fucking steps like Scooby fucking do. I start getting the old fucking, you know what I mean? Start getting all geared up, and I start taking off, at half the speed of smell, and I put my arms out like this, and I go thunk. And then the entire side goes psh, and I am now about 2 inches off of the ground with my belly, right? So I'm belly, now remember, I'm suspended in the air.
Yeah.
Right. So my feet are on the ground, hands on the ground, but my body's physically not on the ground.
Right.
Right. Okay. So that's the bummer. But I'm still like off the ground. It's not 2. It's probably 4 inches. But it's not that much, right? So now I've got a problem. I am stuck. And I said, Wyatt, get over here. And Wyatt goes, there's another one. He fucking hauls ass to the next one. And I said, no, Wyatt, come back. And just as I say, no, Wyatt, come back, there is Sarah and Charlie rolling around the corner. It sounds fake. It sounds fake. This is not fake. This is a real fucking story. They both round the corner, and I thought Sarah was going to pee her fucking pants. She laughed so fucking hard at me. Okay, I was like, nope. This is not happening. This is the worst nightmare anyone could possibly think of. And I was like, there's Charlie. He's laughing. Sarah's laughing at me. All my entire world's falling apart. This is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And then Wyatt appears out of fucking nowhere, like a couple seconds later. Behind me, he's like, hey, I got you. And then he's like, I'll get you out. I said, okay, no big deal. Wyatt's going to be out. We're good. Wyatt's my guy. He starts pushing me. Well, if you've ever been a fat kid before, you don't have belts and you don't have a lot of things to hold your pants up. So as he starts to push my legs forward, it acts like a right? So it starts pulling. All of a sudden, I get down to about my hips. All of a sudden, the shorts start coming off. I was like, what? Stop it. Why stop? For the love of God, why stop? Why stop? So, and for the risk, I was like, no, we got to go back the other way. We got to go back the other way. And so I start pushing back, and then Charlie's trying to help. And then finally, I get to like where, kind of where like my shoulders are or whatever. And my hands are in front of me. I'm like, I can't. Unbelievable. Because otherwise, Wyatt's going to fucking throw me back the other way. And then Sarah looks at me. She goes, oh, I can help. And she puts her foot right on my forehead. And she shoves as hard as she can. I go thunk back through the other side. Like Winnie the fucking Pooh, I was stuck in the middle.
In the honey pot.
So, yeah, in the honey pot. Well, you got the honey, Winnie the Pooh honey reference there. So that was definitely one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. Thanks for making me relive that, Donna. That was nice of you.
Real pain in the ass on that one. Or I guess the forehead.
Sure did. Spoiler, we never hooked up, so.
Damn it. I wonder what kind of lost her flavor in you.
Yeah, it couldn't have been the fat Harry Potter dude. It was definitely
that moment.
Yeah, Winnie the fucking Pooh looking for some honey. Halfway through, looking around, going, oh bother. Okay.
I don't think we can do any more stories after that. Fact, fiction, I don't even know it's real anymore.
I love it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take that on a tangent on my own podcast.
That was so worth it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Because I was like, okay, so we like Sarah. Charlie, We're okay with Charlie. We just don't like
love Charlie.
Charlie.
We don't love Charlie. Yeah.
Right. It seems cool, though. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was one of the worst. And I remember literally laying there like halfway through, all right.
This is life.
Well, I was like, this is definitely Winnie the Pooh status. Like I was very self-aware. I was like, this has got to be the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Sure was.
So, don't love that journey for you. But it built character, and look where you're at today.
A lot of embarrassment.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like the Inside Out guy was my...
And then someone somewhere on a different podcast is doing fact or fiction, and they give this whole story, and someone on the other end is like, false. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
No, doesn't check out. That is not how it works.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. It was brutal.
I'm so sorry for you. But also at the same time, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this journey. I'm sorry it took so long.
No, that was perfect. Mm-hmm. So before we end the episode, Anthony, how about you give us a quick update on any listings our listeners may be interested in buying? Mm-hmm. How can we invest in fix and flips on investment realty homes and loans? Or how we can get in contact with you to help as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent.
I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so here we go for listings. So
listings.
We've got 3 single families coming up.
Uno.
1 is on market. 3 total. 1 on market right now, and then 2 are coming in very soon. So if you're looking in the Bonita area, between $1 million and $1.3 million, we have those for you. I got a fix and flip opportunity coming up right now. So if you guys want to do that, it's also in Bonita.
Yeah.
We stole that property. Thanks. Love you.
How much would someone need to invest in this one at minimum, you think?
At minimum?
Because you've mentioned 20. Before it's like 10 to 15 is not cutting it, so 20.
Yeah, 20. I mean, we're open. If they're good people and we know them, 20 is fine. But we're looking for anywhere between 100 to 150.
Okay.
On this one. And
to fill in the gap.
That's the rehab.
Right.
So,
but we don't need one person to do all 150. If
correct.
It's like 3 people who want to split 50-50.
Yeah, right. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Cool. It's the same rate of return.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of gets the same thing. So that's cool. If you want to invest in fix and flips, we can do those too. I got another one in Little Italy / Golden Hill. That's a really, really nice one. So if you guys want, have any interest in that, that's great. And then as far as getting in contact, email Anthony at Joplin, JOPLINRE, like realestate.com.
And then website is also Joplin, RE, as in real estate.com. But it's just JoplinRE.com. Don't add in the as in real estate.
Take it easy, Tiger.
And then phone number, if you want to call or text, is 619-604-6569.
Do it again.
619-604-6569. There's a lot of 6s.
I did it on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why?
Devils.
But there's 4 6s.
What's Joplinisms?
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. And
it just worked out that way.
Well, it's got a nice cadence to it.
Thanks.
And as always, if you need a mortgage loan, Investment Realty Homes and Loans can also help with that process as well.
That's correct. irhomeloans.com.
Cool. And that's it for this episode of Realty Talk.
Yay. Bye. You're like a gnat.